Alright. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Luke to Infinity. I'm your host, Luke, joined with your favorite, everyone's favorite sound guy, Harry, from the Luke and Me show. He's your sound guy. Well, we have a lot to get into today, so we're just going to go right into it. There is some updates on the election progress going on right now. Most recently, there was a press conference from Donald Trump's legal team of experts, and I guess they were saying that they have a lot of evidence that they are going to bring forward within the next 2 weeks. That's what they said in their press conference. I guess they have till somewhere in the middle of December to get everything situated, get everything sorted, and get everything organized to present their case. Apparently they have 18 very high pieces of evidence that could overturn the election results. So 18 different ways that they could overturn the election. That's a lot. That's a lot of evidence. Now, I know everyone out there is saying, well, where is it? Well, that's the thing, people. I'm in that same boat with you, okay? I am very anxious. I'm on my toes. I'm ready to see this evidence. I don't know if it's going to be enough evidence to overturn the election. I really hope it is. I'm one of those people that if you're sitting there and you're saying, hey, where is this evidence? Like, why aren't they releasing it? I'm in the same boat as you, okay? I have that exact same thought. And here's what I say to you. You must be patient, okay? Al Gore, back in the year 2000, okay, he was able to have, what was it, his 30-some or 40 days or whatever it was after Election Day. He was able to have his time to have his recount process and his challenges through the election. Back in 2000, he was able to have his time. So I say to you, if you were patient back then, be patient now, okay? These are things that are very delicate, and it's very important, and these are things that are important to the country that cannot be messed up. So if it's this big of a decision that is riding on this evidence, then you have to have enough as far as the Trump legal team goes, they have to have this evidence presented and ready, and every T has to be crossed, every I has to be dotted. They have to have every single detail, down to the mole on the gnat's rear end. It has to be perfect, or else any court that they bring it to, if there's any suspicion that this is wrong, that their challenges are wrong, it'll be tossed in a heartbeat. And you'll never see it again, and that's going to be devastating to the Trump legal team and to his overall character. I mean, their credibility and Trump's credibility is going to be completely thrown out if they bring an ant to this court, to the courts to present. So they better have, instead of an ant, they better have an elephant to present to the courts. They have to really get this right, people, and you just have to be patient with it. You really do. The process needs to be carried through. You cannot rush these things. So be patient. That's what I say. Let everything play out how it should, how the court should. This is legal. It is very legal what Donald Trump is doing with his legal team. It is very legal. He's not breaching any sort of law, and he's not going against anything in the Constitution of the United States. Okay, and as a matter of fact, it's the very opposite. The Constitution of the United States promotes this. There's articles in there that talk about these specific things that Donald Trump is doing with his legal team. For some of you out there that don't agree with that, well, then it's just bad news for you. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but you're in the same boat too, just as everyone else is. Where's the evidence? Well, you gotta wait. And there is another reason why it's also being held back from public release and media release, and it's because everyone knows, okay, I should say the Trump legal team knows, and Trump knows this too, but they know that the media is just vicious, okay, and they will do anything, at any means necessary, that if they catch a whiff of these people's names, okay, there's hundreds of sworn affidavits, and these are signed pieces of legal information from witnesses that if they lie, they are going to prison under perjury. So this is a very serious matter. There's hundreds of these. So if hundreds of people are saying the same thing and hundreds of people are having the same lie, then that means hundreds of people, guess what, under perjury, they are going to be going to prison. So I wouldn't take it lightly if you're on the other side saying that all these people are full of it and they have no case, they have no evidence. I wouldn't take it lightly, because not that many people out there are willing to swear under perjury, okay, that if they're lying, they're caught lying, they're going to prison. Not many people would be willing to do that. But it's being hidden. These people's identities are being hidden from the media and from the news because the Trump legal team knows that the media and the news are so corrupt that they'll do anything, that if they catch a whiff of these people's names, they will just destroy these people's lives. They will threaten them. They will just crush their names in the media, and they will harass these people till the end of time. And they will just drive these people into fear and into exile. And that is just flat out disgusting, and it's flat out wrong. That is why the Trump legal team is waiting so long. Now, there is another reason, I'll get to that, but that is one reason why they are waiting so long to release any amount of evidence, because they don't want the media to grab hold of something and then just to harass these people, especially if the media learns the names of these people that are doing these reports. If the media gets a hold of their names, I feel really bad for those people, because they are just going to be trashed. Their names are going to be dragged through the mud. It's going to be awful for these people if their names get released. And the other reason is that they had so much evidence. This is the Trump legal team saying this. They have so much evidence. As a matter of fact, I think the phrase by Trump's lawyer, it was like pouring through a fire hose, and now it's to the amount of a tsunami of evidence that's what they're having coming in and being presented to them. So if there's that much evidence, then it needs to be taken serious, and it needs to be really thoroughly looked into. And if they don't have the time to go through all of this stuff that's coming in, that's what they're saying. They're saying they just don't have enough time to look into it all at once. So that's another reason why they're just waiting. Because, well, I mean, they're actually not waiting. They're doing their due diligence, and they're doing their investigations, what the media should actually be doing. They're doing the media's job in researching all of this stuff, and instead what the media wants to do is they want to find out the names of these people, and they want to drag them through the mud. They want to throw them into fear and throw them into exile. That's what the media wants to do with these people. And it's just tragic. It really is that the media doesn't do the job. Okay, we go to the phones today, and we have George on the line. So, George, we understand you called in. You have something to say. What do you have to say for us today, George?
Look, I'm just pissed off at all this crap.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
So,
the Trump legal team.
Yeah?
That's what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
They're out here claiming they have all this stuff. Well, where is it?
Well, that is a great question, George, because we were just talking about this. We believe this is why the Trump legal team is not presenting any names or any evidence or anything of that sort. And the reason why they're not doing it is because of the corrupt media. If the media gets a hold of one person's name that has come forward with any slim amount of evidence, that person will just be bombarded and harassed and just driven totally into fear about and they'll just be afraid for their lives from the just all-out harassment that the media is going to just unleash on this person. And then once they find the name of one person, then it's just going to lead to more people that they're going to find names to, because they're going to harass one person, and then that person's going to spill the beans on another person, and then the media is going to go after that person, and the more and more people that the media go after and just drive straight into fear for their lives, then these people will be quiet, and then this would go away. So that's the reason why the Trump legal team is not releasing anything. And quite honestly, they don't have to. The only people that they have to prove their evidence to is to the people in the court of law.
That's true, but they are losing supporters. And let me tell you this, Luke. If they come out, if this press conference that they had, they made it sound like they have this huge bombshell that when they release it, Trump's going to get 80 million votes and overwhelmingly win in a landslide. Let me tell you, Luke, if they release a mouse, I'm done with them. I am done with them.
So you're more worried that the press conference that Trump's legal team, you're more worried that they are claiming. Let me just say this.
They're going to release a turd, and it's going to piss me off.
Right, so that's what you're worried about. You're worried about that the Trump legal team is standing up there, and they're saying that they have all of this evidence, but then when it happens, when the moment comes that they have their case to present, and they've been flaunting that they've had all of this stuff, you're worried that they're just going to present nothing, and it's just going to be tossed out.
They're going to lay an egg, and it's going to be tossed out. Or they're going to say, we have this mathematician that says that, and then the Biden legal team's going to come out with another mathematician that proves exactly opposite what they said. And then the Supreme Court ain't going to rule on, oh, well, this person said this, and this person has an affidavit here, and this person has a different affidavit. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And it's going to piss me off when they lay an egg in court, and they're going to lose me, and I'm sure they're going to lose a ton of other support. So they better have something big, and I think they need to just release it now.
Well, they have till the middle of December, I believe. I think it's either the 12th or the 15th to get their stuff, all of their evidence together. I mean, there was a lot of talk shows that I was listening to, and one of them had Trump's one lawyer on there. I think her name is Sidney Powell, and they asked her, they asked if they could have any information forwarded to them within this next week, and they said that, she said that yes, they're going to start releasing some information out this week so that some outlets can actually report on it, but I'm curious that if any evidence that they do have is being released, I'm curious if it's going to lead to people being harassed, okay? Because I don't think they want to give out any specific names on any of these people that have evidence of fraud, because these people are indeed afraid for their lives because the media is just that corrupt. But if the evidence does come out in this next week, and they have till sometime in December to get all of their stuff together, then hopefully they do have a big case. And I know that Sidney Powell did say that they have so much stuff that it's just flowing in through a fire hose, and then she even updated that and said now it's pouring in like a tsunami would just be throwing, all kinds of stuff at them. So if they have this much evidence, then I really do hope, I am agreeing with you right now, George, that if they present a mouse, if they present nothing, then I will say that this was a complete joke and it was a waste of everyone's time.
I'll just end with this. I feel like she said that it's flowing in like a fire hose. I think it's flowing out like diarrhea.
I think so. I hope it doesn't end as an explosive diarrhea case, okay? I think it really needs to end, and if they present nothing, then I think it's going to be a bad ending for the Donald Trump supporters. I think a lot of them are over anxious right now that there hasn't been any evidence released yet, but they have to realize that the reason why no evidence has been released is because these people that have these sworn affidavits that are under perjury, these people are indeed afraid for their lives, because if the media gets one of their names, they're just going to be harassed into total fear, and that's just not how it should be.
They need something more than affidavits, though, or it's just going to be a big turd. All right, Luke, that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you for calling. All right, we have another caller on the line, and it's a special caller. Let's see who it is. Hello, caller, you are on the Luke to Infinity show. What is your name, caller?
It's me, Luke.
Oh, it's me from the Luke and Me show. All right, yep. Me. Thanks for calling in.
I just finished my world travels.
All right.
Just got home from the Tibetan monks.
The Tibetan monks. Were they hospitable?
Yes. They taught me their throat singing.
Throat singing?
Yep, it goes like this. But that's about it.
That's awesome, me. We're really glad to have you on, and we're glad that your travels led you to throat-singing Tibetan monks.
But I called to talk about this election.
Yes, and we were just talking about the Trump legal team press conference, and we were getting over that, and then we had a phone caller named George call in, and he said he was pretty furious, and he was mainly worried that the Trump legal team was up there during this big press conference the other day, and they were saying that they had all of this evidence, all of this ton and tons of evidence out there that they have enough to overturn this election. And he's worried, though, that when it comes to them, the day that they present this in court, that it's not going to amount to what they are saying or what they actually said during this press conference. So what do you think of that, me?
Exactly right. I think that they're all in. They are all in here. If they say they have all this, hundreds of signed affidavits and witnesses' testimonies and everything, and all this evidence and proof, if it turns out that they don't have anything and it's all just hearsay and, people that claim that their cousin knew this guy who knew this guy who knew this other guy's cousin, it's going to get thrown out in court. They're going to be made the laughingstock of the world, and they're going to lose all credibility. So they are all in.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that they have enough evidence that they can actually back up that what they're saying. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if they do have all this evidence and it is something, and it's what do you call that? It's right down. It's undeniable proof.
Right.
The media is going to be discredited because they're not even talking about this.
Right.
I think Fox they weren't even showing the press conference. They were talking about coronavirus. I think CNN showed it for 3 minutes and then cut off because they're like, oh, it's terrorism. But
it's terrorism.
If the courts do rule in favor of Trump's legal team and they do have undeniable proof, then it's the media that's going to lose all credibility and made the laughing stock of the world. So both sides are all in on this, and it's just going to come down to which way the courts decide.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we were talking about earlier how desperate the media sounds in these press conferences when they ask questions, the desperation of their tone in their voice, that how much they want to get at least one name from one of these sworn affidavits or these whistleblowers. They are so desperate to get one name, and so that they can just harass and just bombard these people, and drive them into fear. for their lives. So the media is desperate to get the names of these people so that they can just harass them into shutting up.
Destroy their lives.
Destroy their lives, shut them up, and for them just to go away and to just disappear into exile. And that is why they're just so desperate at these press conferences when they're asking Trump's legal team, when they're asking them these questions, where's the evidence, where's the evidence, where's the evidence? Well, Trump's legal team, they're smarter than that. They're not going to they're not going to just flat out give the names of these people who've reported this fraud, because they know that these people's lives are at stake.
Yep. If you look at Trump's Twitter account and Facebook, well, most of Twitter they pull them down, but
yeah,
Facebook's a little better. They allow it to go on. They just put this was fact checked.
Yeah, they put a stupid disclaimer on it. Yeah.
If you look at his Facebook, I think it was, he's posting these graphs.
Yeah.
That show, the election totals, and all through the election night, it's his little bar is up and Biden's down, and then they stop, and then at 1 o'clock in the morning, you see this huge jump for Biden. It was 143,000 votes all come in for Biden at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's not suspicious at all, is it? He posted graphs on, I think it was Wisconsin. He posted one on, I think it was Pennsylvania. He might have done more, but that's the evidence that they're showing. We can look at that and see that looks ridiculous. That's unbelievable. That's the evidence they're showing. Imagine the evidence they have that they're not showing. They're waiting for the courts to show.
Right, and I think that goes back to the point that our other caller, George, was worried about. He was saying that, the evidence that Trump's legal team does have, and that they are willing to show, which you mentioned the graphs and everything. George made it clear that he doesn't believe it's going to be enough. That they're going to need more than just affidavits and graphs. They're going to need strong, flat-out, blatant evidence that shows
the
this.
Affidavits. The thing with the affidavits is they are signed under penalty of perjury.
Yeah.
So, if you signed an affidavit that you swore that some guy threw an orange at your head, and then it turns out that guy didn't throw an orange at your head, you're going to prison for perjury.
Right.
You don't just lightly sign an affidavit.
Right.
So I think the affidavits are going to be a big part of it, and that the Trump legal team said they have thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah.
You can't just deny thousands of people's sworn testimony in court.
Right.
So I don't know. I have no idea.
Right. Yeah. The one of Trump's lawyers, that Sidney Powell lady, she said that they have so much evidence and so many signed affidavits that they haven't even had the time to go through all of them and read all of them yet. Yep. That's overwhelming. That is just that's a lot of people out there that are saying this, and it's just, and which leads me back to what I said about how hilarious it is, the desperation of the media right now, that they don't have any of this evidence because they know, well, the Trump legal team knows that if the media got a single whiff of evidence from these people, that these people will just be driven into fear for their lives.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting what happens in the next couple weeks. I think they're officially launching, the Trump legal team's officially launching their lawsuits, I think they said in 2 weeks. A lot of the lawsuits that have been launched are just from regular people.
Right, yeah.
They're not even affiliated with anything. They're just regular people saying, hey, wait a minute, we saw something here that shouldn't have been. We're going to press charge or sue, and a lot of them get thrown out. Right,
and then it's those cases that you hear the updated news on TV or on Facebook or whatever, and you see these articles that say, oh, another one of Trump's cases has been tossed out by the court. No, it wasn't one of Trump's cases. It was an individual person's case that was tossed.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens, but at the end of it all, I seriously doubt they're going to overturn the election. Because even if it goes to the Supreme Court, we like to think of Supreme Court judges as, robots that vote because of one thing and it's what it is, but it's not what it is. They're people, and they know that if they overturn this election, there's going to be violence like we've never seen before. It's going to be bad.
So
I think they're going to take that into account, and they're just going to say, you know what, it's not worth the violence.
So
I think they're going to toss it out.
So do you think they're going to overturn the election, or do you think they're just going to shove Joe Biden through?
They're going to shove Joe Biden through.
Okay, all right. I misunderstood you. I thought you said that they're going to overturn the election.
No, I don't think they will, because they know if they do, it's going to lead to violence.
I agree with that.
Say it's not worth it.
But do you think that this will be the end of Donald Trump then, though, if they throw this out and they just shove Joe Biden through?
That's a good question. I mean, it depends what he has. If, even if the court says, you know what, no, we're going to dismiss this case on whatever reasons, if it depends what he has. If the 73 million people that voted for Trump look at the evidence that he presents and say, no, there is actually something there, I think Trump might run again in 2024.
Interesting.
But if he comes out and it's like written on a napkin and here's more evidence, and he just made himself look like a complete moron, and he has no chance at running in 2024.
Right.
I don't think he's going to do that. He's smarter than that.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, thanks for calling in, me.
Yep.
And it was good to hear that you're back from your Tibetan monk travel. And
yep.
We're
And Luke, if you want to wrap up your show, I'm having chicken wings.
Oh, all right. Well, then we're definitely going to wrap up after this. Harry's in, too. He just jumped up out of his seat. He went to go start the car.
All right. Well, we'll see you.
Yep. See you later, me.
Yep, bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it, everybody. We had our two callers. We had George, and we had me from the Luke and Me show call in. They gave us their thoughts. Hey, we're just going to see what happens from here on out. I just think it really is, just to wrap everything up, I think it really is hilarious that how desperate the media is right now to get a sliver of one of these affidavits, these sworn affidavits, just to get one of their names. How desperate they are in their questioning and reporting, that it's so funny that they're just that desperate right now. And you can sense the desperation in their voices and their questions, and they really just want to get back to talking about the coronavirus. They want to get back to talking about that. They want the coronavirus. I mentioned this in a previous Luke to Infinity episode. The media is desperate. They are desperate. They want to get one of the names from these people so that they can tear their lives apart. And they're desperate because they don't want the coronavirus to go away. They want the coronavirus front and center, to be in the spotlight again, to be on that front center stage and taking all the glory. That is what the media wants, and that is how desperate they are. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this up. I am your host, Luke, in Luke to Infinity, and join us next time as we dive deeper and deeper into infinity.